them down now! Take the shot! Take the shot! Do it!
This is my out-of-the-home theater review for Zootopia 2. But before I tell you what I thought about the movie, the audio, and the video, let me tell you about the gear that I'm using. For this review, my setup includes 11 Arendal speakers in a 7.3.6 configuration, 5 1723S monitors for the front stage and rear surrounds, 2 1961 monitors for side surrounds, 2 1961 bookshelf, and 4 1961 height speakers for a total of 6 height speakers. For the low end, I've got dual 18-inch JTR RS1s and a 21-inch MagTheatron subwoofer for maximum impact. Processing the audio is a Trinnov Altitude 16 with an Amplitude 16 processor. On the visual side, I've got a madVR Envy core processing an EPSON QB1000 4K projector, made it to a 110-inch acoustically transparent Seymour screen with the center channel behind the screen. So do you like my police glasses? You know, because Zootopia, police, detective stuff. All right. I guess I'm gonna take these off. Okay, so I saw this movie in the theater, obviously, and I can't really remember what format I saw this in. But I have to be honest. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was something I ate before. I don't know if it was the time of day. But for some reason, I fell asleep for like 15 or 20 minutes during the middle of this movie, and it has nothing to do with the movie itself. It's not a bad movie, anything like that. I legitimately don't know what happened. That never happens with me. So I missed like 20 minutes of it, and I was like, oh man. And I didn't really want to go back to the theater to watch it again another day, so I was like, I'll just wait till it comes to digital. So that's what I did. So kind of watched it for the first time, but not really. But yeah, the movie itself, good movie. I love Zootopia, the first one. I still think the first one is better, the original Zootopia. However, I think I'm in the mass majority or minority on that one, because this movie, Zootopia 2, is now the highest grossing animated film of all time. Really? Again, I'm not knocking the movie. The movie is great. It's good. I personally think the first one is still better, but it is a like legit direct sequel. Like the way that the first movie ends, it literally picks up at that moment in Zootopia 2. So maybe that's why the movie did so well, because you know, with sequels, they usually have like some other completely different plot that sometimes has nothing to do with the first one. So the fact that, you know, you can, because I watched the Zootopia 1, I think the day before I watched Zootopia 2, and yeah, for the people that did that, it's a continuation. It's almost like just one really long movie. I wouldn't even consider it part 2. It's just like they literally could have combined the movies together, and it just would have been one really long, you know, 3-hour movie, however long it is. But I thought the movie was good. Decent plot, good character development. There's some new characters there. Obviously, you have the old characters that come back. You have that whole dynamic and everything. So I thought the movie was good overall. Again, you know, I'm gonna watch it again, maybe with some friends. Maybe I'll have some friends over to watch it. But yeah, I still think the first one's better, but the second one's no slouch. And congrats to Zootopia 2 for being the highest grossing animated movie of all time. Okay, let's get into the video. So the video on this is absolutely pristine, just gorgeous, super clean. So this is an animated movie. Usually animated movies have a really clean digital look, and this one is no different. Now, it doesn't look overly digital or anything like that. This one definitely looks a lot cleaner than the first one. The first one looks really good too, but this movie is This is one of the best that I've seen for an animated movie. Just absolutely clean, pristine. It's got that digital clean look. There's zero grain in this, which is not surprising because it's an animated movie and they don't really throw a lot of grain in animated movies unless maybe it's like a flashback scene or something like that. So absolutely beautiful, brilliant colors. The HDR on this is fantastic. So if you have a video processor like I do, I have the madVR NV Core, this is going to make your projector display just absolutely shine. Now, it's not the brightest movie. There are some bright scenes and some, you know, some highlights in this. But man, the picture just looks super, super clean. No issues there. Very vibrant colors. It's not overly bright, but again, there are some bright scenes. And through, I didn't notice any issues. Just beautiful colors. The resolution is amazing. The HDR is fantastic. You get a broad range of colors, the color spectrum, HDR. So yeah, from the moment this movie started, I was like, wow, this looks really, really good. And you know, my QB1000, EPSON QB1000, madVR NV Core just knocks it out of the park. So if you've got something that, you know, like a JVC or a Sony that's going to look a little bit more sharper than the EPSON, it's going to look fantastic. And then if you have something like I do that has a lot more brightness, you're just going to get the best of both worlds. You throw in a video processor like madVR, chef's kiss. So that's the video. The audio, let's talk about that because this one is interesting.
Did you try restarting it? Mm-hmm. Have you tried not being an idiot?
Hey, Paul, I got you some donuts. Oh, no.
Thanks, Plowhauser.
Plowhauser, location.
Oh, no. I think we're gonna have to go through the festival.
Festival?
So this is also Disney Pixar, and I believe that's Disney Pixar. So Disney has been knocking it out of the park. We got Fantastic Four, and then we got Tron, Ares, and then we got Predator Badlands. All fantastic. So this one is, I don't want to say it's a little bit of a mixed bag, but it kind of is. So this one is not nearly as good as any of those last three. Not anywhere near there. But it's definitely not as bad as some of the previous Disney movies with the audio. But this one's interesting. So there's not a whole lot of aerial scenes or I guess scenes that complement height channels. This is a pretty static mix. There are a few times when, you know, you will get some dynamic movement, but for the most part, when I was looking at the Trinnov Atmos viewer, this is a pretty standard or static mix. And I didn't notice a whole lot of activity coming from the heights, even though there was some activity on the Trinnov viewer. But overall, I didn't really hear a whole lot of activity. And again, that could just be the movie itself. There's not really any scenes that really lend to, you know, massive activity and object placement in the heights. You do get some of that. But for the most part, it's pretty static and you're not going to get a whole lot of immersiveness in the height channels. As far as the movie overall, how it sounds, it's acceptable. I'd say that. It's not great. It's definitely not bad. I've definitely heard worse. It's acceptable. What's interesting on this one though is the bass. So this is not an overly, you know, bass heavy movie, but there are some really, really deep bass notes in this movie. It's really weird. So I wasn't expecting very much out of this. Again, I don't remember the audio in the theater sounding like superb or excellent. Again, I don't even remember what format I watched it in. I may have just watched it in like standard or maybe like 3D or something. I don't think I saw this in IMAX. I don't even know if it was showing in IMAX. But I don't remember being wowed in the theater. So, you know, I figured, well, Disney's been on a roll. We've been getting some good releases with the audio. Maybe this one will be just as good. It's not, but it's definitely not anything to cry about, you know. But the bass is interesting. So I was watching this at -10 because I figured it's an animated movie. It's probably not going to get too crazy. And it really doesn't.
Put them down now! Take the shot! Take the shot! Do it!
I figured it's an animated movie. It's probably not going to get too crazy. And it really doesn't. But my neighbor came over and knocked on my door. The same neighbor that I thought had moved, which technically I think he has. I think he moved his wife and his mom out before, I want to say it was before Christmas. No, I'm sorry, before the freeze. So we had a freeze here in Houston. If you don't live in Houston, you probably don't care about that. You probably don't even know about it. But we had a freeze about a week and a half ago. Hard freeze. You know, everything shuts down. And right before that, I came home and there was a U-Haul truck. And I was like, man, I think they're moving. And I was kind of like, yes, you know. But, and then I didn't see any of them for like a few days. The cars were gone. But now he's back. So he's been back here by himself for like a week. I think he's probably maybe fixing up the house or something, doing something. I guess maybe he moved his wife and his mom out so I didn't disturb them with my movie watching. That's the only thing I can think of. But I'm like, you know, it's an animated movie. It's probably not going to be that crazy. I can crank it. Apparently not, because he came over to my house, knocked on the door. I looked on my, you know, my camera, my doorbell, and I'm like, oh, great. And he proceeds to ask me if I could please turn down my bass. Like, what? Like, I know there were, like I said, there were some scenes where the bass was hitting. I was like, man, that's pretty low. But I didn't think it was hitting that hard. So hard that he said, could you please turn down your bass because stuff is falling off my bathroom shelf. I'm like, whoa, what? Out of all the movies that this guy has come over and knocked on my door, which is only a couple times, who would have thought that Zootopia 2 would have been knocking pictures off your wall? So that tells you how much bass there is. And it's not consistent though. It's not like the whole movie is like that. There's a few scenes where I was like, whoa, this is some pretty deep bass here, but I didn't think it was knock pictures off, you know, knocking stuff off your wall in your neighbor's house. But you know, I was like, oh man, I said, you know, sorry, I'm watching a movie, you know, it's getting pretty annoying. But yeah, if you've got some potent subwoofers, you've got multiple subwoofers, you might get a knock on your door from your neighbors. So the bass, like I said, it's very weird because it's not consistent at all throughout the movie. The whole movie is not like that. There's only a few scenes and it's very short. But yeah, there's some bass in this movie. So for video, I'm going to give this one a 9.5. I would give it a 10, but you know, it's one of the best, but it's not the best animated that I've seen. So I'm going to give it a 9.5, which is still really high. Again, beautiful looking movie, beautiful cinematography. HDR is fantastic. The color spectrum is fantastic. Super clean digital. 9.5 for audio. I'm sorry, for video. For audio, man, I'm kind of torn on how to rate this one. There are some deep bass notes in here, but it's not anything that's consistent. And I wouldn't even say it's anything that's like, wow. The only reason I say it's wow is because I didn't expect it from an animated movie of this sort, where there's not really any necessary scenes for bass to go that low. So for audio, I'm gonna go with a 7 out of 10. It's not horrible, it's not great, but because of the bass, you know, I probably would give this like a 6.5. But because the neighbor did come a knocking, I gotta give it a solid 7 out of 10. So yeah, man, that's my review for Zootopia 2. Good movie, great looking video, acceptable audio, and yeah. I know we don't typically, or I don't typically review a whole lot of animated movies on here, but you know, highest grossing animated movie of all time, I got to review it for you guys. And I'm sure you guys have kids that, you know, you want to watch this and give you an excuse to watch this movie with your kids in your theater, in your dedicated home theater or dedicated space, whatever you want to call it. So I'm curious to know what you guys think. Did you guys experience the same amount of bass that I did? Did your neighbors come a knocking? Let me know down in the comments. That's my review for Zootopia 2, and I'll see you in the next video.